if I pulled all of the teachers into a room on National Teachers Appreciation Week and gave a speech to them. But instead of thanking them for their service, I called them out and challenged them to be better. Well, on Father's Day in 2008, Barack Obama did just that. He challenged African American fathers to be better. His controlled volume, important pauses, and brilliant use of rhetorical devices helped him persuade the black community. Throughout his speech, Obama explains the importance of having a father in the household. He not only challenged them to be present, but to set a standard of excellence in their lives. This is Barack Obama. As you guys know, he's the president of the 44th President of the United States, and at the time of his speech, he was the senator of Illinois, and he was actually campaigning to become the President of the United States. This speech was given at the Apostolic Church of God in Chicago, and it's kind of small, or a church seems small, but this church is really big, and it has over 20,000 active members, so there's a lot of people in the audience, and it was given on Father's Day in 2008. He had three purposes of the speech, and that was to persuade. He persuaded the black fathers to be better and be more present in their lives because they weren't. And the next one was to inform, and he informed the black community of the poverty, or if they didn't know that already, and just the bad things that are going on in their community. And then the third one was to inspire, and that was to inspire just the black community in general to not make excuses for their struggles, and fix their struggles. The speech holds a lot of significance both then and now. And at the time, Barack Obama was running for president of the United States, and the speech catapulted him to winning the election as he gained a lot of popularity in the black community. And nowadays, racial controversy is at the forefront, and if this speech was given now, I believe that people would have reacted a lot differently. And the positive reaction is telling because it means that the black community holds themselves accountable, and people can revert back to this speech in times where poverty is dominant and fathers aren't doing their job. This speech will endure because America will always argue about racism, poverty, and the involvement of parents. And this speech will be used as a reference point as to why fathers need to be involved. And it's kind of like a black man challenging his fellow black community, and I think that's very important in his speech. Obama uses ethos, pathos, and logos, and brilliantly. He is amazing at this. So he has established credibility. He's the senator of Illinois, so he obviously has a little bit of that. And he's dressed nice, and he has an American flag pinned on his suit coat. But he also uses God. In his introduction, he references God and quotes God, and that's really important because if you're in the house of God, people are going to listen to you if you're quoting God. So establishing that he knows about God is really important. Pathos is phenomenally used in this speech, and he appeals to their emotions brilliantly. What's so great about the video is that you can see the people's reactions because there's people behind him. You can see them stand up and clap, and he controls his volume and changes up his cadence, and that really makes a difference in his speech. He also uses an anaphora, and that plays to the audience emotion. He quotes, "How many times in the last year has this city lost a child at the hands of another child? How many times have our hearts stopped in the middle of the night with the sound of a gunshot or a siren? How many teenagers have we seen hanging around on the street corners when they should be sitting in the classroom?" And that kind of just gets them riled up, hey, this is true. And then logos, since he is calling them out, he has to back it up with facts. And he goes, "You and I know this is true in the African American community. We know that more than half of all black children live in single-parent households, a number that has doubled since we were children. We know the statistics that children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of schools, and 20 more times more likely to end up in prison. The audience cannot argue facts, and so they have to believe him." Here's a clip of my speech.
comes off to past injustices. Those injustices are real. There's a reason why our families are in disrepair, and some of it has to do with a tragic history. But we can't keep on using that as an excuse. Some of it has to do with failures of our government, and those failures are real. But we can't keep on using that as an excuse. Yes, we need fewer guns in the hands of people who shouldn't have. Yes, we need more money for our schools, more outstanding teachers in the classroom, more after-school programs for our children. Yes, we need more jobs and more job training and more opportunity in our community. We know all that. That's why I'm running for president of the United States of America. We know we need to bring about change in America. We know.
That was really good, in my opinion. He also uses rhetorical devices. He says, it's a distinct, pass along the value of empathy, not sympathy, but empathy. The ability to stand in someone else's shoes. Like, he's further explaining that. And then he uses so many anaphoras that I think I needed to mention another one. There's nothing weakening about being kind. There's nothing weak about being thoughtful. There's nothing weak about being considerate. I mean, like, every time he uses one, they stand up, they clap, they cheer. It's just really effective in his speech. In conclusion, Barack Obama inspired African American dads to be better. His ability to control his volume, use excellent rhetorical devices, and the ability to pause when needed make this speech one of the most effective speeches of all time. This speech propelled him to win the election of 2008. Thank you for listening to my speech.